Stearns. They have all had a part in putting together this new book in the Daily Gift book series, Daily Gift of Friendship. And we're going to talk to them in just a minute. But as you know, everybody's got their copy. As you know, we start with a prayer. So let's do that right now. Oh, wait, first I got to tell you that this show airs every day, every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third Tuesday of the month. And we are on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen live online on your mobile apps, in cars, on YouTube, and you can even ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. So let's start with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. So let me introduce the beautiful faces we have in front of us here. We'll start with Mark Heidt, who wrote the foreword for Daily Gift of Friendship. He's an award-winning writer, director, and producer of $30 million worth of half-hour infomercials. He has a Bachelor of Science from Syracuse University and the State University of New York College of Environmental Science and Forestry. He has performed music at Carnegie Hall and fought forest fires in Idaho. Mark is the husband of Sandy, who has recently passed, the father of Ken and Ruth, and the grandfather of Graeme. He has a unique perspective on influences that enlighten, empower, and motivate people to take effective action. His faith is above all. And Mark and I are good friends. We've been friends for many years. Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference, Mark.
Thank you, Teresa.
Nice to have you here. Sofya Stearns, she wrote the introduction to the book, and she is the founder of Izabella's Gourmet Chow, a cooking school, exploring the world through cooking for kids and adults, incorporating languages and social studies. Chef Sofya is a passionate advocate for education and community support, dedicating her life to helping individuals and families through cooking, writing, and advocacy. Chef Sofya offers etiquette classes for kids and professionals and team building classes for professionals. She helps women and families to stay healthy and educates them on how to eat well without deprivation. She also leads programs for individuals with disabilities and families affected by addiction, depression, and chronic illness. Chef Sofya is a newly published author of The One and Only, and has a monthly column in Moms to Moms in Northern Connection out of Pittsburgh. Sofya, welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you, Teresa, for having me.
You're welcome. And Joseph Carabas is a master storyteller and linguist. Joseph weaves wildly imaginative stories with a sharp sense of humor. He creates multi-dimensional characters reaching beyond the boundaries of the laws of physics by combining advanced mathematics, quantum physics, cybernetics, and neuroscience. All I can say is, wow. Outside of writing, Joseph spends his time with his wife, Susan, reading, listening to, and playing music, and walking his dog. He runs a monthly forum, Roundtable 360, with creatives discussing their journeys. Joseph, it's so good to have you here. And Joseph is responsible for the afterword in this book. So thank you for being here.
Happy to be here. Happy to be part of it.
I'm so glad. And we were supposed to have Peggy Wilms here today, who has read all the stories and helped in creating the books. But Peggy has no voice right now, suffering from the flu, I believe. But she says hello to everyone. She's on my show before, and she's sad that she couldn't be here. But I'm grateful for who is here, all of you. And I just am excited that this is the 5th book in the Daily Gift book series. So, and we're going to start with Mark, because Mark, you have been in every book of the series, and Sandy had written in 2 of the books. And your daughter hopped on board the writing bandwagon too, to be part of the Daily Gift of Peace, which was a great story. And now you came on board with the forward to this one. Tell me why the series talks to you.
Well, the thing about it is, Teresa, the first time I wrote in the first book, you're always nervous. You're thinking about, can I write? What can I do? And I found out the secret to really great writing is to have a really great teacher. And that's you. You do a fabulous job.
Thank you.
And that certainly gave me the confidence to then, as we had other topics and what have you, to want to write another essay and installment. And it's been a pleasure. It's really been a privilege. I recommend it to everybody. If you had any sense of ever wanting to write, this is a great place to hone your skills, express yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we love it when people write for the first time in these series. I often tell people who want to write a book, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know that I can write a whole book."
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's a little daunting. And I know Sofya just completed a book, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. And Joseph has written several books. So, but a lot of people who are getting started, writing a story for a compilation like this is kind of like tipping, just sticking your toe in the waters and seeing if you like writing, and see if you can put something in a book where it's a collaborative effort and everybody's talking about the same thing, and you bring your voice, your unique, authentic voice to the table with whatever the story is that you write. And by that, my hope is that people will want to write more and share more stories, whether in this series or write their own book or add to another collaboration that we might be having. But it's writing is a skill that grows over time. And I think that this is just a really interesting way for people to, get their feet wet, let's say, in writing. And that's exactly what you did. And you continue to write. And I just love it. You've been part of the whole series. And thank you for doing that. You want to talk a little bit about what you wrote in the forward?
Yeah, this book is special. Look upon it is a Beatles analogy to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the analogy is that the last album that they did was Abbey Road, but the one that came out last, of course, was Let It Be. So everybody thinks Let It Be was the last album. It wasn't. In this particular situation, because of the events that they unfolded, I actually wrote the friendship back in March. Mm-hmm. And it was back in March that my wife Sandy read it, and that would turn out to be the last one that she had to review for me.
Yeah.
And she passed away. And then I called up Teresa and I said, Teresa, I wrote an essay in this book, but I really appreciate it if I could a chance to write it forward in this. This friendship is very near and dear to me. And it gave me a chance also to then express some of my emotions and feelings and some releases. And Frank said, writing helps you get over that sorrow and it reestablishes courage. And that's what it did.
Yeah.
And the forward is trying to encapsulate the concept of what the people were writing about. And that's what I did. But it was very, very important to me personally because it allowed me to do a final writing about my wife and what this series had meant to me and to her.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for taking that role in the book, because you add a lot to what's in the pages of this book. And thank you. Thank you. Sofya.
Hi.
Sofya, I just alluded to the fact that you just recently wrote a book. You want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll ask you about the little bit that you wrote in this book and the introduction.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. I was nervous, as Mark said, it's nervous. It's my first one with you, first show. So the book is called The One and Only, by fate or by choice. It's about families who only have one child. And the book is divided by on three different parts. One is called Lifestyle, IVF, which is infertility, and then adoption. Lifestyle could be a family decides to only have one child just because they want to show that child the world. They want to travel with this child and they don't want to break the bank traveling with it, helping showing the world to the child. In other few families, they said they tried. The first one was easy to conceive. The second, it just never happened. And the second part of the book, IVF, it's infertility. In 1 out of 6 families actually do have a struggle with infertility. And the third one is adoption, which is quite costly. And most of the families who I interviewed, so I interviewed 41 families, and most of the families who did adopt, they tried for many, many years to have child on their own. It just did not happen. Right. The reason I wrote the book is no one really knew why I only had one child. I had my child when I was 42. It took me many years to conceive, and I went through a lot of miscarriages. I went through a lot of things my body just could not handle. When I finally had my child, it was a blessing. I couldn't believe that I was finally pregnant, and I was finally actually had my Izabella. And then out of nowhere, people would say, well, you're selfish that you only have one child. Your child is always going to be lonely. And what happens if she passes away? You're going to be childless. Or what if your child needs a organ? You won't have a child who can help her with a donor. So it was a lot of negative comments I would be receiving instead of people. And to me, I always say that if you have nothing nice to say, you should just not even say it.
Yeah,
or just keep it to yourself. Right. And surprisingly enough, I was actually shocked by how many families I interviewed went through the same thing.
Yeah.
There are families they adopted a child, and people would say, well, the child doesn't even look like you. Well, it's really none of your business, is it? I have families, I interviewed same-sex couples as well. And there's two gentlemen, they adopted a baby, different color, and everyone was criticizing them. But no one ever said, what a wonderful thing that you did for this child,
baby.
For this baby, taking him out of the foster care or whatever. So people, and I always say that and the reason I wrote this book is because I wanted to stop judgment. Don't ever judge the book by its cover, even though I say my book, the cover I have for my book is adorable. So yes, please judge the book by its cover. The same for this one is I love the cover. However, truth to be told, don't judge the book by its covers. Yeah. You have no idea what is really, truly going on in that family's life. And it's really up to the family to decide basically to have one or even sometimes zero kids.
Totally.
Those families who don't have kids, people call them they're selfish. And
that's
it's not fair, really. But I think it's very unfortunate. Yeah.
So I wanted you to talk about that because I want to ask you, how does what you wrote in your book roll into what you wrote in the introduction in this book? And the title of it is The Power of Friendship and Family. I love that. Family. One of the girls that was doing the editing said, you have a misspelling on the first page. I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to even be part of the book and then actually to write the introduction. Friends it's so important to have friends. Sometimes we have relatives and they're just not your best friends, but then you meet someone and you instantly know that they're your best friends. I'm blessed that I like every single part of my family, so I'm blessed that way. But I'm also extremely blessed to have an extremely close connection with my best friends. Where I can actually open up to them and not being judged. I can tell them what on my mind and not to be judged.
Right.
To me, friendship is where you are freely spoken and you can open your heart to those people, and vice versa, right? And you're there to help each other. You know, I am blessed that my second husband, Jeff, that's who I have Izabella with, he's my best friend. That this is where I'm blessed. And this is the way I'm going to just write, if I could read what I wrote, that by Britannica definition, friendship is a state of enduring affection, esteem, intimacy, and trust between two people. And one could say this definition sounds like a bit like a marriage. And for me, it's exactly what it is. But outside of marriage, it means to have a close knit group of friends, to be so close with that if you're in a pickle or you're sad or you're grieving or you just had a bad day, you can text them, call them, or whatever, and they're going to be there for you.
Right.
And they know perfectly well that you're going to be there for them as well. So it goes both ways.
Yes.
I also think that, and I truly believe it, and I say this in my piece where I wrote that, you know, everyone has different backgrounds. We all have different backgrounds. We come from different religion. We have different parenting style, the way we were raised. However, if you could all agree on basically to disagree, then we will never lose that friendship.
Right, exactly.
And unfortunately, there is so much going on now in the world is that I think everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to follow whatever they believe in. And this is where I think the problems come into. And I don't want to become, obviously, it's not political piece, but
right.
I think that's.
But there are some people who go through this life with blinders on, and that's the only thing that they can look at. And I recently had somebody friend me. I recently tried to friend somebody on Facebook who was, there was something that was just interesting, you know, common things. And this person came back and said, asked me if I was, it was just very nasty what she said. And I said, I don't talk about politics online. Oh, you must be one of these white supremacist people. And that's how she came back with me. And you know what I did with that? Block those people. I have no room in my space for anyone to make a judgment without even knowing who I am. Right. And I think there's a lot of that going on in the world today. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We talked on Saturday on the event that we did to raise money for the Voices Against Trafficking. It's not right or left. It's right or wrong, you know, and we have to be able to really know that, you know, if you're doing the right thing for yourself and those around you, then you're going to have to answer one day. You're going to have to answer one day. And friendships, for me, exactly like you said, Sofya, and exactly like I know Mark and what Joseph wrote as well, too. You know, having that connection with somebody where the judgment isn't there and that you can be who you are, who you were created to be, and talk about whatever, or agree to disagree, as you said, Sofya. So thank you for saying yes to writing the forward for this and for bringing this conversation here today. Joseph, it's your turn.
What would you like to know?
I could sing too, by the way. What made you say yes when I asked you to write the afterword of this book?
Because I'm greedy for any kind of exposure, like most independent authors, and you know, it's just friendship to me. I would define it as a sacred thing, and people who know me might have a challenge with that because I tend to be joking a lot. You know, one of my favorite quotes about friendship is, "A true friend is someone who can sing your song back to you when you've forgotten the words."
Yeah.
That's hard. That is hard to take. Really, right there.
Right there.
And then the other side of that, he said, laughing, is when you're in jail, a good friend will come bail you out, but your best friend will be sitting beside you going, damn, that was fun.
Yes, yes.
So as I wrote in the book, in the piece that I wrote, and also in the afterword, most people are into friendships, but I've rarely met the individual who goes, how did I learn to be a friend?
Yeah.
What is there about that person that makes me say, I will give of myself to you? Because that's what friendship is.
Yeah.
Friendship,
Exactly.
as Sofya was mentioning, that is a self-giving without the expectation of return.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful when we do get a return when the friendship is created. But I know a lot of people that I've been friendly to, that I have helped in life, who, yep, okay, thanks, Joseph. Good. I got what I wanted. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my responsibility to myself is to continue to be their friend,
Yeah.
to continue to honor them, to treat them as I would want to be treated by them,
Mm-hmm.
through example, through kindness, through graciousness, let them have an idea of what friendship could be. Whether they take it or not, that's not my job.
Right.
My
Exactly.
job is to be, as you were saying, and as Mark was saying, to be the best me I can be in a situation.
Yes.
The other thing about friendship, which was
Hold
part
it.
of
Wait.
what
Wait.
I, the
Joseph.
piece,
Joseph. Hold that thought for a second. Hold that thought for 1 second, please. We need to go to break. I'm late going to break. I'm gonna bring you right back when we come back. We're gonna continue this conversation about friendship with Joseph. We'll start off with Joseph, and we'll continue his thought pattern on that. We'll see you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Are you one of the many people who said, someday I'll write a book, but don't know how to get started? Many wannabe authors have begun with the same question and are now published by Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a multi-imprint hybrid publishing company. Whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a kingdom book, a children's book, a business book, or an anthology, we have a place for you. Visit www.AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com for more information or to set up a 20-minute consultation. Your title of published author is within reach.
Born Able exists to highlight and normalize the humanity, worth, and abilities of infants and children born with complex medical conditions. We write, illustrate, and publish books for these children and have featured over 1,000 children throughout the world. Our videos and posts have been viewed over 100 million times on social media as we strive to showcase these amazingly abled kids and fight relentlessly for equal medical care, regardless of diagnosis. All proceeds from Born Able books go directly to the Born Able Foundation. To nominate a special kid to be featured in a Born Able book, go to www.bornable.org to learn more.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back, and we're going to go back to Joseph to have him finish his thoughts on friendship. I love what you said about it doesn't matter what they took away from it. It matters how you are becoming are the friend in the conversation before we went to break. So can you continue there, Joseph? Please.
I'll do my best. One of the other things about friendship tied into friendship is a giving without expectation of receiving is when you decide to be friends with someone, part of that non-conscious decision is understanding that person's going to change over time. They're going to grow. In my case, I grew out. I gained weight. Such was life. But people, nobody laugh. Oh, come on, a chuckle maybe.
I can relate. I can relate. I'm with you. I'm listening to you. I'm shaking my head. Yeah, that was me too. I gained weight.
Thank you. So you're gonna evolve. The human dynamic is that we change. We change, as Sofya was saying, because of what's happening in the world, what's happening in our neighborhoods, what's happening inside our bodies. And friendship is about accepting a person's changes, even when you don't like them. You know, I'm going to accept what you're doing and what you're saying and how you've been. I may not like it, but I will still be here for you. So that to me is where real friendship becomes a decision. You know, will you continue to, as the Bible says, there is a friend who is closer than a brother. You know, in Ecclesiastes, not to be biblical, but that's just my background, folks.
Welcome here. Welcome here for sure.
That's it. I'm done. I'll be quiet.
For the moment anyway, right? For the moment. But I love what you said. You know, we change as we grow in friendship with one another. And what I have to remember, and I had a circumstance happen some time ago with someone who's very close to me. And for whatever reason, that person went off about something that I have no idea why they were doing that. And it just it shut me down for a minute. And then I had to rethink like what was my reaction to the whole situation. Because I felt attacked. But then of course, after the steam blew off, you know, then we had a conversation and revisited that conversation, and all is well, you know. So, and that's what people who are friends do. You know, my mom, God rest her soul, when I was growing up, we had a door in the front of the house. We had a door on the side of the house. We didn't have a back door. We had a side door, came into the kitchen. It was a revolving door. People would come in throughout the day. Our friends as kids, her friends. A coffee pot was always on. There was an Entenmann's cake in the house somewhere. And if there wasn't one, somebody brought one. And it was just a great place to just sit at the kitchen table and have a conversation. And that's what friends do. That's what friends do. And she taught me how to be a friend. And at her funeral, the woman who was my godmother, she was there, and they were friends from the time that she was in like the first grade. They went to elementary school together, all through high school together. They were, they were best friends their entire life. And what I learned from them was the power of communication and the power that love builds between people, and you don't necessarily have to be together all the time, but you each are a part of something that I consider to be, and I think you said this word, Joseph, and I think Mark said it too, sacred. A friendship to me is sacred. So that's one of the reasons why this is one of the books. What do you think about that, Mark?
Well, I think that friendship, as I said, is based upon shared experience. And the essay that I wrote in the book was a shared experience that I had with my very, very best friend. We've been friends for 50 years. We met in college. But the one experience that we had among many was just a wild thing of where we were taking an exam, and the next amount of papers. There's actually about 56 papers to study, and he would pick out 2 on the exam to write about. Being good college boys as we were, that was an impossible task because we had much other things to do between girls here and we didn't have like 60 articles. So we had a little contest to narrow it down. It's just like they do the basketball tournament. So we put all the things that they have. We did one against the other, against the other, against the other. And the way that we chose was by flipping a 64D nickel. Now, we got it down to 2. We only read those 2. As it turns out in the story, you'll read it in the book. But the key point is that I had always believed growing up I was a good test taker. I believed on multiple choice exams, the final 2 choices, you're better off just flipping a nickel and see how it goes because you are prejudiced. So my roommate believed in this. I mean, you had to be there to understand that, here your college grade is going to depend upon a 64D nickel. Now, what makes it fun is that this book gave me the opportunity to write about that, and this time write about my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I called him up the other day, and what will happen is people will want to, get the book and buy the book. So I said, I'm also getting a version of the book, and I'm going to send you an autographed copy, which is kind of a cool thing. Some authors do an autographed copy, right? But in his, of course, what did I do? In the back of the book, I had gotten a 64D nickel. I put it in, and in case of emergency, break the deal.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, things like that you take away from your experience, your shared experiences with people, that you can do something like that and bring yourself back to where that whole thing originated. And that's really fun to be able to look back and see where relationships blossomed into friendships. I recently had my class reunion. I won't tell you how many years, but it's a lot from high school. And I saw people that I hadn't seen since the day that we walked across the stage on graduation from high school. And it just was amazing to me how it seemed like no time had passed, even though we looked much different than we did on that day. But heart to heart, no time had passed. We came from a very small school. We were the first graduating class out of this school. So we were only like 103, 108 people, whatever it was. And it was like really like being with people, being with family who we hadn't seen in a while. And everybody just loved the whole weekend. We spent a whole weekend together. It was great. And that's because during those early years, and some of us had been together since 2nd grade, like my mother with her friend who was my godmother. It just was like no time had passed. We picked up where we left off all those years ago. So friendship is a good thing when you can keep them going that long. What do you think, Sofya? How old is your how lengthy is your oldest friendship, your longest friendship?
Well, I probably should say my twin sister, she's my oldest.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's right. You have a twin sister.
Yes, her name is Olga, and I'll reveal it. I'm 56. So yes, it's the longest friendship I ever had, and I love it. She's actually visiting us right now from sunny Florida. That's where Mark is from.
Yes.
Yes. And we've always been best friends, and I've been blessed to have her because she's always by my side, and I'm always by her side. I've never felt alone. And I actually was hoping I'm going to have twins because it's so easy. I knew that my kid would always have a best friend, but that didn't happen. And when we immigrated in 1985, we did not speak a word of English. We spoke French, but we were always glued together. So we were always together. So the teacher said, no, you actually should not. You should probably learn English since you are in US. So they separated us. It was awful. The first week was like leaving. It was just absolutely awful. Like I've never been separated from my twin. But then it's, we're learning English and it was easy peasy. But yeah, I would remember it was horrible. But yeah, she's my longest friend. But I also have to say that, I traveled a lot. I lived in a lot of cities, and I have really good friend in Chicago now who lives in, I'm just going to say Texas. And then I have another friend, really close friend in Chicago. And then I have a few other friends they're spread all over the place because I moved, and so did they. And we don't talk to each other probably for weeks and months and maybe years. But then when we do actually connect, it's like nothing ever happened. Like nothing ever, the time hasn't passed. And we just will take off, and we just will start talking about like we were there, like we had a conversation yesterday,
right? Isn't that great?
And it's effortless, and that's the key for everything. It's effortless just to have someone by your side, right? You don't have to think twice you don't have to buffer anything, right? You don't have to stop and think, oh my God, is she going to get offended? And I love it. That's like the only best friendships they are.
Right, exactly.
Easy peasy. And the same thing, like you said your mom always had like a revolving door. My mom always said that, growing up in Russia, my grandmother, we did the same thing. We always had people over. We didn't have homemade cakes because it was really hard to find anything in the stores. But there's always tea, right? And people, great for communication.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's the best. And those are the memories, right? Those are the best memories.
Yeah, they are the best memories. What about you, Joseph? What's your longest friendship? And do you still keep in touch with people from years past?
My longest friendship to date is, what is it, dear? 47 years?
Yeah.
Well, she's right over there.
Okay.
No, that's
the camera here.
That's awesome.
47. We were friends for years. Some have passed because I'm mature. I'm ripe. I'm old. So we've lost some friends. We managed to make new friends. I find it far easier personally to make friends with creatures in the woods than I do with people, because the nature of being a full-time author, you're very solitary. And in my case, people will be talking with me, about something, and I'll go, "What did you say again?" And they'll say it again. And that's a beautiful phrase. Let me write that down. Hang on for a second. I'm going to use that somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to be with me, because I'll be watching people do things and I'll go, that could be a character in a book. So a lot of our friends are like, you're not going to write me, but I'm going to be a good person. Am I? Please, Joseph, please make me a good person. Too late, no. But the joy of making friends with woodland creatures is, and I have had these kinds of friendships, what you get. You treat them with respect, they treat you with respect.
Exactly.
Sorry to say that human friends, it's rare to have that mutual respect element where, I'll give you an example. My longest friends, he's very, very long, he's about a mile and a half. He's a rather strange man. Anyway, one of my longest friendships was with a gentleman who, I don't know why, just started having an affair. And he got upset with me because I would not deal with him having the affair. I said, look, I accept you. I understand you have a need of some kind, but I don't want to take part in your being with that person. If you want to finish everything with your, that's fine. Because I was being respectful of my relationship to his wife and to him. I was not hostile or negative to this person he was with, but I made it clear, I don't know how to interact. I don't know what's expected of me in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that caused too much friction, and these are things that happen. Susan and I have been together a good long time. We lived in sin. Back then it was called living in sin for 6 years before we got married.
Shame on
To
you.
her family. I know. Hey, it was the best shame
I'm
I've
raising
ever
my
had.
head in there.
There you go. But I wrote our wedding vows, and people, knowing that I wrote them, expected them to be a little humorous or funny. But when we read them, they essentially said, I don't promise you health, wealth, happiness, joy, peace. What I promise you is I will change. Be with me through my changes.
Mm-hmm.
Be there for me when I change, and I will be there for you when you change. And I can't tell you the number of people who have asked us for copies of those wedding vows to use, because it's an acknowledgement of we're going to be friends. We've gone through a lot of pain with each other. There's been a lot of change in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, I never want to marry the person I was 40 years ago.
Wow.
I was a real bastard.
Oh my.
Still kind of not. I need to run. I'll be quiet.
Okay. Just for a minute, because we have to go to another break. So I'm going to just say we'll come back. We're going to talk more about A Daily Gift of Friendship. We're going to talk about the series and whatever else comes up during the conversation. We'll be right back.
Do you have an uplifting personal story to share? The Daily Gift Book series began with a daily gift of gratitude and a daily gift of hope, both available on Amazon. We're looking for people like you to share a story in our continuing series. Kindness, peace, inspiration, and generosity are just a few of the upcoming topics in the Daily Gift Book series. Your stories matter, and they make a difference. Visit www.dailygiftbookseries.com to find out more on how to submit your story for one of the upcoming titles.
With the hustle and bustle of today's world, how often do you practice gratitude? How can you make it a habit? Gratitude is more than putting a smile on your face and being thankful for the roof over your head. It's expanding your perception and finding gratitude for every opportunity and every challenge. Gratitude is a feeling of connection to things higher than yourself, to God, and to others. We focus on light, positivity, and connections. When we join our grateful hearts together, the power of community attracts more people and even more to be grateful for while making a difference. A grateful heart is infectious. Share it. Join our Grateful Hearts community on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Grateful Hearts Community and watch your blessings blossom.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back. I can't believe how fast this time goes. It just flies by.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Exactly. That's the truth, isn't it? So I want to just talk about the Grateful Hearts community for a second. On Facebook, we have a group called the Grateful Hearts Community. And I was having a conversation with some people yesterday. And I used to do this thing, Gratitude A to Z, where you took every day you found 3 things with the letter of the day that you're grateful for. Because I believe that a lot of people get in a rut when it comes to finding things that they're grateful for. And this opens your eyes to all the things that are around you. Daily Gift of Gratitude was the first book that we did with the Daily Gift Book series. And this series is an assignment. It's a divine assignment for me. I've got a tap on the shoulder, and gratitude was the first. So all of these things flow from a grateful heart. And I think that I invite everybody, by the way, to go to the Grateful Hearts community. It's a group on Facebook where you can participate in this and write things that you're grateful for. We add stuff on a regular basis, but we haven't played the game in a while. So I'm bringing it back. Yesterday was A. Before the day is out, I'll put what's there for the letter B, and we'll keep going on. But gratitude B's things like hope. It brings hope into your world. It will make you a kinder person which is daily gift of kindness, put them all together and you have a much more peaceful life, right? It's a daily gift of peace so that you can have successful friendships, right? There's an order to it. There's a method to my madness, and it's all coming from a higher source. So I just really am grateful to be able to be part of this in the Thanksgiving season. I can't believe Thanksgiving is 2 days away in 2025. Oh, please, where did the year go? Does anybody know? Can anybody please tell me where the year
I feel
went?
like it's the quickest year ever, I think.
Yeah.
The days are flying by. It's insane.
Yeah. Joseph, where are you pointing? Where is it?
That's where the year went.
It flew by. It flew by. It did. There
you go. So Teresa, I'll give you a tea for today.
Okay.
I had brought this out. I usually don't bring out the hardware, but tea is for 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was when I won at that time my 5th award for infomercials.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought that one out because to me, friendship, shared experience. People ask me, how was I able to be married to my wife for 50 years? More importantly, how was she able to marry me? But the answer to that question is really simple. We were best friends.
There you go.
And the reason I brought out the award is we would talk to literally thousands of people at a time. I have no fear whatsoever of public speaking. I love speaking to a crowd and everything else. But I'm watching TV and I watched this beautiful lady come out. Her husband had just been assassinated, and she's now going to speak to 10,000 people in a football arena, plus millions of people across the television. And I got to tell you, as skilled as I am and all of the awards that I've ever won, I could never have done what it is that she did to deliver that so well and so heartfelt. But you know what the key words were? And she went right to it in the beginning. Charlie and I were best friends.
Best friends, exactly.
And that's what friendship is really about. Friendship in a marriage, friendship in businesses, friendship in collaboration that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most important things in life. And my best advice for it is don't try to find a friend or make a friend or anything else. Go out and have shared experiences.
There you go.
I'd go to dinner, find something to do. That's what friendship develops from.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And don't be afraid to make new friends. At Girl Scouts, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. I remember that from when I was a little kid in Girl Scouts. And that's, make new friends, keep the old ones. But that's what you're absolutely right, Mark. I'm in agreement fully with you that you can say that your spouse is your best friend, and you and Sandy. And now I see Joseph and Joseph, I'm sorry, what's your wife's name again? Susan.
Honey Blossom.
I think you're right. Too many characters in book. Talk about your books for a minute. Let's have a little bit of what Joseph writes about.
Okay. Well, I write autobiography, and it gets published as magic realism and fantasy and sometimes horror. And my sister wants to know if we grew up in the same house. My editor, my longtime editor, and now publisher, when she goes on speaking tours and book gigs, she says to people, the two things you'll always find in Joseph's books are a deep understanding of human psychology and love. And I have to agree. Most of my books are about people going through sometimes tremendous catastrophic change, learning self-love so they can help others in the situation. So, The Augmented Man, which is a science fiction book, it's really about my work with the PTSD community.
Oh, nice.
And long ago in the 1990s, I made a connection that no one else was making, which led to some breakthroughs. which are now being used worldwide, for which I'm incredibly grateful.
Wow.
So, and one of my other books deals with, as you mentioned in the introduction to me, it deals with a lot of my work in quantum mechanics and cybernetics. So I'm a boring guy. Did I say that before?
Well, I don't know that I would
My books
actually.
are really good.
I don't know that I would put boring in your bio. I really don't know that I would put boring in your bio. So yeah.
Now my books are really good, but okay. Let's talk about Sofya's book.
Yeah, let's talk about actually what I want to talk about with Sofya. We talked a little bit about her book earlier, and it ties right into what she's about to share with you now, because you just did your very first episode of your cooking show for
Yes,
children.
for kids. Yes, it's called Cooking Around the World with Chef Sofya. So each episode, I'm taking children to a different country. I spin the globe first, and I put finger there, and this where we will be traveling. We make a dish from scratch. The first one was a calzone, and we traveled to Italy, to Italia. So I taught them some Italian, and I showed them pictures of different landmarks. And then it was just super fun. And so I have another one coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. And that's going to be in honor of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And I will have more. So the reason I decided to do the show is because when I do those cooking classes, different after school programs or different schools, or I have monthly or weekly classes, they're usually sold out just because they're educational. In the way I look at it, everyone can download a recipe of calzone or pizza. Kids are obsessed with pizza or pasta. But do they really know where pizza comes from or pasta, right? So I think, they should know it's an Italian dish, and they should have some knowledge of the colors of the flag, and they should have some knowledge of a few words in Italian. Nothing bad, all good. No cursive, no curse there. And I think it's very educational, right? And they should know they should know some landmarks, right? Everyone knows Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? That's good. But then there's so many other buildings they're not aware of. And the same thing, even if we're talking about USA, they should know, some kids don't even know where White House is or what it's called, or, where the president lives and what's the capital. And I think knowledge, and I always say knowledge is power, right?
Exactly.
I start my classes at the age of 3 because when you're so little, you're like a sponge. It doesn't really matter how many languages I'll be introducing you. If you're a tiny little munchkin, you'll just be a sponge, and you're going to grab as much information as possible.
Exactly.
And it's important. Yeah.
Now, where does it air? You said there's one tomorrow. Or do you film them? Do you do them live?
No. So it's actually, I have a channel. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's called Chef Sofya.
Okay. Well, we'll put that in the comments at the bottom of the YouTube when this goes live. We'll put that on there. And we also, Joseph, if you want to send me some of the titles of your books, we can put them in there as well. Mark, do you have anything you would like us to put on to refer to you on the besides your arm's length worth of books on the Daily Gift Book Series?
Well, I'll just sum up by just saying, if you're even thinking about writing, do it. It will be one of the best experiences you've ever had. I wrote 30 infomercials, so I do have some professional writing experience. But when I went to do these books, that didn't come into play at all. I was starting almost as a novice. Having gone through it, and I'll continue to write in other ones, and I hope people, once they get started, continue to do that on other topics, because and I read what the other people write in the book. There's so much great stuff that they have to say on it.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to get that pen out, start writing, let it happen, get these books, read them, you'll enjoy them.
Yeah.
and then continue on with that. It's been a privilege to do it, Teresa, and I thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so very welcome. And there are many more to come. So Daily Gift of Friendship, all of these books right now, every time I release a new book, I put it at $10, and it's currently now at $10. We are in the bestseller category right now, new release bestsellers. Don't know what the number is at the moment. Last time I checked, we were around high 20s. And the 100 books, it's 100 books that qualifies you for bestseller, but 100 spots. But of course, I would love to see us be number one bestseller, and all of you can call yourselves another number one bestselling author, contributing author to this series. So the next one that's coming is going to be a daily gift of inspiration, and I'd like to launch that one in March, end of March, early spring, end of March, beginning of April, to have out there for the spring holiday. And then coming after that is going to be, for next year at this time, will be a daily gift of happiness and joy. And we've got courage on the list. We've got a book that we're going to put out for a daily gift for a peaceful journey. Daily gift for a peaceful journey through cancer. So many people have cancer today, and a lot of people have gotten through it. And this book is meant to be uplifting, to share stories from caregivers, family members, and whatnot. So all this information is going to be available as we put it together on the dailygiftbookseries.com, so that you can go there and look and see what we were up to and possibly become part of the series, just like these three beautiful people did. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Thanksgiving is 2 days away. Tell me real quick in one word, what are you thankful for? Sofya, I'm going to start with you.
Family and friends.
Awesome. Joseph, what are you grateful for?
The night sky.
Beautiful. Mark, what are you grateful for?
50 years of fabulous memories, and 50 more years to go with memories of my kids.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you who tunes in for this show. I hope that this conversation has given you something to take away from here, to be able to build long-term friendships in your world. Until next time, remember, every conversation that you have makes a difference. Make sure that the one that you're having with yourself does as well. And we'll see you the next time. Have a great day.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our station owner, Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.